So for task one, the only changes that were made were to use the existing triangle solution with colors, and then to expand it out to build a square yellow, and then to just use 4 extra vertices with the set colors to give the sort of blend effect between them. And then for task two, the differences between this and the first one were to give each point on the star their own full kind of like constructed vertice layout. So instead of sharing the vertices with the square, which would blend the colors, you kind of just give them all their own points and then feed all that through here and make sure sizes and everything all right. And then, so for task three, we were only really told to, or tasked with changing the order of the structure for simple vertex. And the only changes that really makes is the way you set it up in your vertice or vertex buffer. And then you also have to change the D3, D11 input element description, the layout array, which, as it says here, defines the input layout. So when you flip these, you have to make sure that you're setting like where the positions start in the structure. So since we flipped it, color begins at 0, and then position starts at 16. And then boom. So for task 4, it was kind of an extension of the triangle constant buffer solution. And the only changes were that we added in this int color num into simple vertex. And then we also made CB color an array that holds two colors. And then in the vertex buffer, we rebuild our individual square and individual points on the star. And then we feed them each the color array value that we want them to use at the start. And then we can update this on the CPU side to send it to the GPU to tell the vertex shader to apply the certain color, which happens down here. And then I just added a little like color, so you click it multiple times and it changes. And then for further work, question 1, what's the difference between constant buffers and shader constants? Shader constants are read-only values that the shader uses that aren't coming per vertex or per pixel, like a color or light direction. They're just inputs to the shader that stay the same for many pixels or vertices. A constant buffer is how DirectX actually gets those values from the CPP code into the shader. So on the CPU side, we create a constant buffer, fill it with data, shader constants, bind it to the vertex or pixel shader, and then on the shader side, we read that from cbuffer. Together, shader constants and constant buffers work in tandem to pass uniform data through the graphics pipeline efficiently. And then for further work, question 2, the reason that the white gradient is only applied to the triangle and not the background is because the background color is written to the screen first when the render target is cleared, and then the pixel shader only runs on pixels generated by rasterizing geometry, so it never affects areas of the screen where no geometry exists.